Welcome, YouTube, Spotify, Apple.
We have never done this intro.
Yeah,
I like it.
I'm referencing the platforms.
Like
that can't hurt the algorithm.
I like it that you're not even mentioning the name of the pod. It's
Culture
where we
Clash.
are.
Yeah.
We are the Culture Clash pod.
On Spotify, YouTube, and
TikTok. Patreon.com/Culture Clash comedy.
This is a podcast where we find out the life philosophies of your favorite comedians, entertainers, everything. We added the entertainers.
We only have comedians. We don't have any entertainers. But someday. I'm Shafi from the East.
And I'm Dan from the West.
And today we have one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
Is it too much? One of my favorite people, a great friend of mine, one of the talented people I know. So funny. She's on tour right now. Welcome to the Culture Clash pod. ISABEL HAGEN, everybody. Come on, clap it up for
clapped
ISABEL.
before, but we
clap. We clap on the pod.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So we will ask you a lot of questions,
okay.
And then at the end we will kind of give you a rating of if you're more Eastern or a Western. Like we try to find out your internal clash clock. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Have any questions?
Has anyone ever been right down the middle?
Yeah, we did have the first one. Actually.
Weirdly, Jeff Asmus.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think it. He's
Wow.
so
He's
into religion, though. The amount that he knows about Islam. Do you know about Islam?
He's a convert.
I
we
know.
converted him on
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I might know more than you think.
That was.
We don't quiz you on Muhammad, so don't worry.
Okay.
It's not like, oh, did he take a course to heaven? There's no quiz.
And I still don't know if it was a ladder or steps, even though you've told me many times. Ladder to heaven, or was it staircase?
It was a horse.
It was a horse.
It was a horse to the heaven. I told you.
No stairs.
No stairs.
Horse on air.
He flew the horse.
Okay.
Do you not know how we do things?
You've told me the origin story of Islam a couple times, and I never remember it.
He was the same horse that won the Kentucky Derby 3 times.
Oh, okay, Triple Crown winner.
Yeah,
Sagittarius.
Yes, 100%.
Nice.
And then he lost, and then we shot him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what.
And that's Islam.
That's the origin story.
That's a good way to start, as any. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, Isabel, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Tribeca.
Oh, okay. City girl,
and I grew up basically right by the corner of Broadway and Canal, where they sell the fake designer handbags.
Mm-hmm.
And all those guys selling the bags are Muslim. And so on my block, because it's kind of a side street, they would pray 5 times a day on my block. So I feel like I grew up kind of close to a lot of Muslims.
Oh, yeah. Really?
They would like I would come home from school, they'd be like washing their feet with water bottles and praying, and then but all the time.
I didn't know that people in the city in Tribeca are Muslims who are selling secondhand fake Louis Vuittons.
Yeah, I wonder
That's
how much
news to
that
me.
aligns with the religion.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things we do as Muslims. We sell fake merchandise to the white Christians.
It's in the Quran. It's deep in the.
Yeah, it's chapter 5.
It's okay to sell counterfeit goods if it's on Canal.
We don't tell you. We don't tell you it's counterfeit.
Yeah, city. I'm amazed that children grow up in this place. How do you think city, like being a city person? Well, you've never known anything else, but what do you think? How do you think that affects you growing up in whatever this place that we're living in is?
Well, I told someone I grew up in the city yesterday, and he was like, "You're the least like troubled person I know from New
What
York
does that
City."
even
From the
mean?
city?
Yeah,
Like no coke addiction? Is that what that
yeah,
means?
that's probably what he was implying. I mean, I think it can lend it. You know, you can go around a little sooner by yourself. You're exposed to more stuff earlier. I don't know. I spent a lot of time at home with my parents practicing the viola and had a pretty sheltered upbringing. So I don't know. It was just it just was. I always thought the suburbs were magical because it was what? You have your own outside and an upstairs? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you like a backyard?
Yeah, I mean, you always want what you don't have. I'm sure if I lived in the suburbs, I would have thought the city would have been cool, or I don't know. But I just thought that I thought it was made up for a while, just in movies, and then I actually went, and then my cousins lived there, but that was it.
Yeah, 2 people from the movies, and
then
my
cousins,
Yeah.
and then I went to this Saturday music program, and a lot of kids would commute in from Connecticut and New Jersey, and I would hear about their lives, and I was just like, what? That sounds so fun.
The suburbs were, as a New Jersey suburbanite, it was just, there was no structure. It was summer happened, and then it was all right, and then the parents would just free us on bikes, and we would just get into a lot of petty shoplifting because the consequences are pretty much zero. You can steal whatever you want in suburbia. I don't know if anybody listening to this knows that. You can get if you, you just have to be
Would you
faster.
steal? Did you steal a lot?
What's the definition of a suburb?
Suburb? I don't know. It has to like, is it population density? It feels planned, like streets with like, and the houses are like really, I mean, not commercialized, right?
I mean, you have to have kids to live in a suburb, right? Is that wrong?
you don't have to.
I
You
feel like I've
must
never
have a
seen,
child
Yeah.
I've never seen
in
anyone
order-
in a suburb who don't have kids.
Unless they're like a murderer or
Yeah.
like
Sure.
a child diddler.
Or if you're like the Unabomber, then you gotta go to a
Yeah.
suburb. 'cause you're trying
Teachers,
to plan
I'm sure
something.
teachers at schools also live in the sub. Well,
But do they live in like because there are also like apartment buildings in the
Sure.
suburbs.
yes,
Because we don't have suburbs in Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh. We don't have space for a suburb.
yeah.
So if you have kids, you just gotta live among other people. It's not you cannot escape the city.
I mean, is it farm or city? Like,
It's
just
city.
no in between,
it's
no buffer.
city, and then you just go to the village. There's
Yeah.
no suburb. There's no definition of what is. We don't have like.
And I'm having a hard time defining. As somebody, I spent my whole life there, and I don't know what it is.
Suburban.
Yeah.
So like worse than
Half and half.
like
Yeah.
urban is city.
I guess it can't exist without a city. It has to be in proximity to a
Right.
city.
You have to take. I feel like suburb. The definition of it would be you could, if you have to go grocery shopping, you have to drive.
Yeah.
Is that like a good definition?
I mean, Austin.
That's definitely
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not
Mostly. I mean, there might be like some store you could walk to.
sure.
Mm.
I like
But-
that how we're like being very granular about that. We're like we need to
I don't
make
want to
sure.
say anything incorrect on
Yeah.
this podcast.
Yeah,
you know?
we are only talking about truths on this
Yeah.
pod. No wrong definitions, please.
I don't think we've ever gotten a fact wrong. Now that I think about it.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
been
That's
doing
one of
it
the
for
culture clash
many
things
months,
we do.
Not a single mistake.
Yeah.
So Viola, is that like a plan? Because I mean, for the people that don't know, you're a classically trained violist, viola player.
Yeah.
Juilliard,
Which is the Harvard of viola.
Ever heard of it?
and
No.
Juilliard to me is legitimately Hogwarts. Like I don't know where it is in the city. I don't know how to get there. So, but like
It's on 65th and Broadway, between Broadway and
You'll
Amsterdam.
still not know where
Yeah,
it is.
he's
You'll
told
go
me-
and you'll be like, I don't know where it is.
yeah, he's told me how many times Muhammad has ascended to heaven, and I haven't remembered that. So I
Yeah.
don't like my chances of remembering where Juilliard is. But that seems like if I were to guess, that's like a plan. Your parents saying like Juilliard, like on the vision board for you as a kid, or is that you driving towards Juilliard of like I want to go there, I want to pursue music there?
I didn't have a vision. There was no vision board because we weren't like foo-foo.
Well, you're too busy getting shit done
Too
to
busy,
make
yeah.
a vision
Too
board.
Wait, I don't know who Fufu
practicing
is.
to
Who's
make a
Fufu, by the
vision
way?
board, all right?
You
I'm
know
not a
Fufu?
freaking
I don't know
loser.
Fufu.
Somebody who's foo-foo.
Foo-foo, like into
yeah.
astrology.
Woo-woo,
Like
yeah.
I'm more like that now than I was. Anyway, my
Yeah.
parents, they definitely like valued music, and my older brother was super serious in music, and my dad was a professional jazz sax player.
Okay.
So the music was like part of our upbringing, but they actually, I remember one time my dad being like, you should consider going to a liberal arts college because you just have like more options. And I was like, no, I want to go to a music conservatory. So it really was like I was driving myself with that. But they pressured me to practice when I was young. They would like sit with me and make me practice at the time the violin before I switched to the viola. But yeah, it was just something I gravitated towards because I had a knack for music.
Yeah.
So it's fun to do things you're good at, you know? And then I just and I was awkward socially. So I just leaned into it and bonded with other kids who were like music nerds. And
Yeah, get your
that
community
saved
there.
me, you know, because regular school with these rough, tough city kid. No,
Yeah.
I went to like a snooty private school and they were.
Costumes? I mean, uniforms? Did you have uniforms?
No, I wish.
You could
I
just
always
wear whatever
wanted
you
uniforms because I thought that would be like more like I don't know. I
Yeah.
like the equalizer.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you, in the suburbs where I went, uniforms.
Yeah.
We have grass, we have uniforms, all the things.
Sounds like you had the childhood I wanted.
Yeah, we should have swapped.
Yeah.
We should do a.
I
kid
could
swap.
I could imagine Isabel playing lacrosse.
Yeah, I played lacrosse.
Oh, I'm bad at sports.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would've- yeah.
I would love to see you just get tackled.
Yeah.
No-
That's what it would have happened.
Yeah. That's wild, dude.
Do you get grades in How do you know you're good? Is that a dumb question?
No,
Probably is.
that's actually a really good question. How do you know you're good? I know you play in tune. The sound is like pleasing to one's ear.
Sure. It's art.
The experts tell you you're good.
Right.
You record yourself, listen back. You compare yourself to others.
But there's not like no grade. Are there grades in Juilliard? So
There were grades.
So tell us like summarize your struggle. Did you have struggles trying to get into Juilliard? Like what's the process like? It seems very challenging.
Yeah.
Like when I think about Juilliard, I'm like, oh, that's a hard thing to.
An acceptance rate of what percentages that don't even have any basis.
Do
in
they have
reality.
affirmative action in Juilliard? That's what I want to know.
Nobody does anymore.
No, yeah.
I mean now, but did they have it in the past?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know that the classical music world is heavily populated with, it's very white but also very Asian.
Yes.
The school was,
Shout out.
I mean, I'm pulling these numbers out of my ass, but
Yeah.
it felt like it was at least 50% Asian in the music department, at least. Different for
Sure.
dance and drama, but and very few other races.
Right.
So
How many black kids would you say there were? Or brown? Let's do South Asian. How many South Asian kids would you say
I don't
there
know.
were?
I'm not a lot.
Right.
Yeah, it's a very
I couldn't recall a lot of South Asian musicians in America. I don't really
Yeah.
know. There's like handful.
right.
So it's like we don't really have a lot of representation
Yeah.
gotta
in
do something.
Juilliard. I'm gonna quit comedy and start
Yeah.
the viola.
They're
Is
hiring.
viola? What's the easiest one to get into?
What's the beginner
I
instrument?
don't know,
Instrument.
like tuba
Tuba.
Yeah.
I like that.
or
It's like-
viola.
viola? That's what you play?
Yeah.
And what's the transition from
Easier than violin to get in.
Ah.
Yeah. Is that it?
Why is
was
that?
it just like an extracurricular thing where like why'd you switch violin to viola?
I switched to viola because I had a crush on a guy who played the viola, so I was
Hell
kind of
yeah.
drawn to it at 10. And then like when I switched, not a lot of kids played it in my school, so all of a sudden I was like in demand, and I was like, oh, I'm like important. So I just leaned into it. I was just like, I love being like the viola gal,
Yeah.
and I just liked being like the inner voice in a chamber group. Like I wasn't in that time, wasn't like seeking the spotlight. I just wanted to like be good, but also like be part of a team. And viola lends itself more to that, where violin, you're like playing the solo line. And
Sure.
Okay.
If I did what my crush did in high school, I would be living a double life because I had a huge crush on Hannah Montana.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Half Hannah and half Montana.
So you would have been living a quarter life? Would it have been you would have been a
I would have been
white girl?
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
good-
a
good
good
that you
life. It's a
involved.
good
Do you
life.
still
It's
have
a
a
good
crush
life.
on Miley Cyrus?
No, I mean I got over that really quick because
Okay.
I started having a crush on Selena Gomez.
Do you still
No.
have a crush on Selena Gomez?
No, I really
Jesus,
I
you-
move on really quick.
Who's your
Yeah.
who's your celebrity crush?
Right now?
Yeah.
I have to think about it, but I think I like people who do like good work. And
Yeah.
is that a bad
His
thing to
girlfriend
say?
I was
listens-
about to be like, I feel like Shafi's gonna say he doesn't have a celebrity crush because he doesn't believe in like. I feel like you would
Crushes?
have some like theory
Yeah,
about that now.
I could potentially give you that answer. I don't really have like one person. I'm like, oh my god.
Like I'd
Yeah.
have to know. You'd be like, I have to know
Sure,
their soul.
I would
like,
have to. You're right. You know me too well.
I'll say Florence Pugh.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Oppenheimer.
Florence Pugh.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't see it yet. So,
Well,
do you see
spoiler.
it? I didn't see
Which
it
one?
yet.
Oppenheimer.
No,
I
but
don't
I've
see
seen
it.
her in Don't Worry, Darling and in Midsummer. That's
Yeah,
like
sure.
that's the first thing I saw her
Sure.
in.
She's real hot.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my
You got a
answer.
nice low voice too.
What about you?
Yeah.
Do you have a celebrity crush?
Um
Say Yo-Yo Ma.
ugh.
It would
not
be
good.
really good for the pod. It would be really good for the pod.
I have always loved I've always just had the real hots for Leo DiCaprio.
Sure.
Okay.
Like in
I
a
mean,
very
you're-
just like little girl like
you're over 25. I'm sorry. It's too
Yeah.
late.
Yeah.
yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
know. But also I feel like we're the ones who like admired him when he was at his prime because
Sure.
like when Titanic came out.
Oh,
and,
it
like,
was the biggest movie in Bangladesh.
When
I
Titanic
saw
came
it.
out, his now girlfriends were they even born?
I don't think so.
No.
It would be sad if I don't think so. No.
Is it 2000?
Or they were like
997?
yeah, 97.
97. So it's 26 years ago.
I think so.
So she wasn't born.
I think he probably asks girls like, "Have you seen Titanic?" If they say no, it's
Have
like,
you seen Titanic in the theater?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Were you at
maybe
the
that's
premiere?
why he likes to date younger women because he doesn't want them to be like basing it off of
Yeah,
Titanic.
oh,
They're
that's
like,
it.
he's like, you like me for me.
Yeah.
Right. I get that. I mean, I'm on Leo's side. Why wouldn't you date a younger woman? It doesn't. I mean, as long as it's legal, go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all arbitrary. Like if I feel like people only hate on Leo because the girls they're dating, they're like, oh, he's just shallow, like they're hot. But if he was dating like a younger Thunberg, people will be like, oh, good for you. He really cares about climate change. You know what I mean? Because like they're both climate activists.
So you're saying he should date Greta Thunberg?
I mean, if they did, no one would like be like, oh, Leo is like a hero.
Okay.
They would be like, oh, Leo is the best. Like, because people are threatened by the beauty of like the models that he dates. Be like, oh, he's a man.
Well,
whore.
I think they assume that there's. So what you're saying is they assume that they can't have anything else in common.
I don't think it's not about age that the people care. It's about the beauty. They think that he's being shallow because the people who are, I guess, talking against Leo's dating habits don't really know the person that intimately. It's kind of mean to the women that that choose to date Leo because they're being, I guess, vilified by the society as like dumb blondes.
Yeah,
but they
right,
probably
like, how
have
could you
so
fall
much
for this.
Yeah, they probably have so much to offer, and we don't know that. So it's
No.
like kind of mean to those women, I think.
Right.
It is.
Yeah,
Maybe they just
Hot take.
rightfully see it as a good publicity move.
Yeah.
Sure.
And they
Sure.
parlay it. There are people in comedy who have done way worse shit to get famous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Without naming any names.
I want to know if you get in. So what was the struggle to get into? Like, your parents strict? Like, did they ground you, beat you with the viola? Like, how did you get into it? Was it like tough? Easy?
My dad was very motivated to get me to practice when I was younger.
Sure.
But like pretty quickly I was kind of just self-motivated, and they also were not like very strict parents. They
very chill. I've met them.
Yeah.
They're very nice people.
Yeah, like they pushed me, but if I had like been like, I do not want to do this anymore, they would have been like, okay, you know, but if they're paying for the lessons, they
Sure.
wanted me to
Yeah.
practice. So they would have just been
Right.
like, okay, well, we're not just no more lessons because you're not going to practice.
Right.
And then, yeah, like I never got grounded, but I never did any. It's hard to say because I wasn't like acting out either. So they didn't really have anything I didn't challenge them.
Right.
And then Juilliard it's just like a 10-minute audition. They make you learn like an hour's worth of repertoire.
Sure.
And then they ask for 10 minutes of it. And then they say, thank you. And you go home and you wait a couple months.
Yeah.
Jesus
And
Christ.
there aren't like multiple rounds. Well,
Do you
there's
have
a tape
like
round.
when you go home from the audition? Can you eat for the next 2 months? You're like, I don't know what I did. Like, what's that like?
I was fine. I kind of knew which auditions I botched and which ones I did well on.
Sure.
I did like 5, and I knew.
So you work under one person who likes you the most? Is that like the situation?
Well, you get accepted into like one teacher's studio.
Okay. It's like a PI, like for grad students when they apply. For example, if I was applying to a PhD, I would have to interview the professor who's doing this research, and if he likes me or she likes me, they would take me in, and I would work under them for the next 5 to 6 years.
Right.
So it's like similar idea where you just have one person who can takes you under their wing, and then you learn for the next 4 years. Is it?
Yeah, and then you have other classes,
Sure.
with other teachers, but that's your
Okay.
main like private teacher is your main thing.
I mean,
Sure.
do you break up with was yours a good match? Because that's like a person that you're going to spend 4 years with.
People do leave transfer studios. It can be really dramatic depending on like
Sure.
the ego of your teacher.
Sure.
I had a friend who like had to switch midway, and it was really tough. I went for masters too, and I wanted to switch for my masters, and I remember like having a full meltdown, like telling my teacher
I mean, it's
from
like
undergrad.
a breakup.
Yeah.
It felt like a breakup. I remember going into the room and being like,
I would say it's
Hi.
worse than a breakup because
Yeah.
you're in the same vicinity, in the same premises of the school.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, hey, 4 years was enough. I can't take you anymore.
That's fine.
I would be in the school,
I remember being like,
but I would be
"You've given
just
me
somewhere
so
else.
much,"
Yeah.
and he was just like, okay, I get. Like he didn't. He was like, save it.
It was a
Yeah.
he?
Yeah, and he
Oh,
was like,
it's
just go. I don't care.
Do you think
like,
he had a crush on you?
no,
Like romantically? No.
No.
Any sex scandals out of Juilliard? Is that like a thing?
Not that I experienced, but
Not you, like I'm just scandals online
yeah,
or
there is. I mean, I don't want to talk about it, but if you a simple Google search,
yeah.
Juilliard.
Tons.
there was a recent.
Oh, a recent
thing.
one that just
Someone
came
was
out.
Let go.
Did you know about it when you're in Juilliard?
No, but
Hush,
I knew
hush.
him,
You knew him.
and it was very interesting to like be like, oh, I didn't know this
Right.
was going on.
Sure. I mean, teachers are having sex with their students. Everyone knows this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
But I feel like Juilliard would just have that extra like just bit of intrigue because it's like brilliant people.
Sure.
And
I
Yeah.
wonder if Juilliard teachers, when they're having sex with their students, if they play their music when they're having sex. They'll like play the
That's
tune.
funny. What
The
is
audition
the-
clip that
Yeah.
I helped you with.
What is the Spotify playlist for the teachers that bang the students at
Yeah.
Juilliard? So they got to play something, right? You got to cover it up.
Because Isabel, people who know her know she's like a multi-talented human being, right? I'm like so jealous of her prowess. She's a stand-up comedian. She does music. She's an actor, director, produce. She does all of it, right? So how, as a like, did you
And I can
have?
do this.
And she
That's
can do that.
amazing.
That's crazy. We don't
Especially
have sound
for-
effects.
yeah.
People who know,
For the
we never do
podcast,
sound effects.
what a
That might be
skill.
our intro and outro song from now on. That music, that whatever she did. I don't even what's that. What's that even called? I don't
It's
even
not
know.
honked my nose.
Yeah, it's a honk.
Honk.
No. Yeah, that's great.
Was it a party trick that you learned when you're young, or
Oh,
is it
yeah.
like something new?
Yeah,
You're like, I really need to stand
so
out.
much ass from it. I got
Yeah.
fucking.
Good boys love that.
So much
Oh yeah,
Juilliard
people were
teacher
so
ass.
into. People were so into it.
Sure. So how did you get like interested in all of those different? Was it like initially as a kid, or did you over time just take more and more on your plate?
Well, I was really not great in school. You know, like slow reader, bad attention. Couldn't absorb anything in history. Would just no science, math, forget about it. So it was just music.
Do you know about Hitler?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so
well,
you did grasp
yeah.
something already.
Yes.
Right? If
Also,
you're like, I
just
don't
'cause
even know.
I'm half Jewish, so
Oh,
you
you
know,
had to.
I had to.
I didn't know you're half Jewish.
Yeah.
Everyone on the pod is like half Jewish. That's crazy.
Yeah, but it's my mom, so apparently that's legit.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the one that counts, right?
Yeah.
Why is
Yeah.
that? I don't really know this.
It's just Jewish tradition.
Yeah.
The mom counts.
If
The
your
dad
mom
doesn't
is
count?
Jewish, you are Jewish.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So you knew about Hitler
so I knew
just
about-
because your mom.
Just because,
Just because.
yeah.
All right. She talks about
Yeah,
him a
I
lot.
think that when they talked about it in school, I was just,
Yeah.
fantasizing about. But so I wasn't. I was really just. I had a good ear for music, and it was all around me, and so I took up the violin and the viola, and I had a naturally good voice. Like I would just sing ever since I was a kid.
Sure.
So those were the two things I had going.
Right.
Never thought about comedy or anything like that. I mean, I was like a
Mm-hmm.
decent writer. Like I would, write fun little stories, but that was it
Sure.
for school. And then went to Juilliard. Still was just like only music, and then dealt with like injury and performance anxiety, and like shit started to like hit the fan for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I actually don't think I like this that much. I think it was just like what I was good at and kept me sane in like the, chaos of adolescence and all
Yeah.
of that. And so then I just started watching stand up, and I had seen it before, like as a kid, and thought it was magical, but never thought it was something I could do. I was just like, this is so cool.
Right.
And then I started thinking like, well, what if I actually did it? And then
You
I went
did
to
it.
an open mic and I did it. And so now, and that opens, then it wasn't even like movie making or anything. It was just, I just wanted to tell jokes, but then
Right.
that kind of gets you into writing. And then
Yeah.
I was like, I want to write a screenplay and
Sure.
I want to make it. So I guess I'll direct these little webisodes, so it all
Right.
just kind of,
You're a
Awesome.
doer. Whatever you start, you kind of finish. You went to Juilliard, then you started stand up. You went on Tonight Show twice, which is crazy. You did Jeff. Like you have like a one woman show
It's a
that you're
one-man
touring.
show.
It's a one man show that you're touring with.
Gender bender.
And it's kind of so like I guess parenting, easier parents, not a lot of grounding because you're like so motivated, but you did music, which is kind of east. And then so how does religion come into play? Because you say your mom's Jewish, your dad's Catholic.
no, he was raised like Methodist or something.
Methodist.
But
It's
by
like
the
when
time,
you do a lot of meth. Like what is
Yeah.
that? What is that?
Exactly.
Methodist.
no, you're like a
yeah.
method Christian.
Oh.
So like it's all meth. It's like method
Yeah.
acting.
Sure.
Everybody's Jesus. They
Oh,
all
Yeah.
think that they're Jesus.
I love that.
That's
a lot.
like when you're eating that's in Catholicism when you're eating the flesh of Christ. You know?
Sure.
It's like that's very method.
Yeah.
right.
That's all
And
Daniel.
do you
Day
also
was.
do you also try for like immaculate conception? You're like method. You're
Yeah,
like-
I mean I've tried.
You're
Yeah.
probably immaculate in that's why you're talented. We have Jesus next to
Yeah,
us.
it's possible.
So Methodist.
Jesus was half Jewish. No, he's full
I mean,
Jewish.
he was full
Full
Jewish. So like, how does religion
What
come
if we
into
found out
play?
he was just half Jewish?
That'd be really funny.
Well, it was just my mom.
But he's
Yeah,
one
yeah.
of those people who makes it his whole personality. It's like, oh, you're not even that Jewish, dude.
I'm
He wasn't.
half.
He was only half. God was God.
And then Mary was Jewish.
Yeah, he just wouldn't shut up about it. That's the thing.
That is this. You have heard that Jesus was half Jewish.
Half Jewish. Yeah.
Now it makes sense. He was half Jewish
Yeah.
because God is not anything.
I don't know what God
Right.
is. Yeah.
God is like
half Jewish, half God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's half God, half Jewish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's bar mitzvah. Do you think you can have a bar mitzvah with those ratios?
Yeah.
Was
Oh, yeah.
Jesus circumcised?
Did
Do
they
we know this?
circumcise back then?
God, which? Oh, I have no clue. I think so.
That's a mystery.
Yeah, I think Judaism was going strong by that point. They're still pretty down on the.
Oh, so
Yeah.
Jesus was circumcised.
Yeah, I think so. Probably.
Okay. So like how? Okay. So how does religion come into play in your life? What does it have a place?
It could also be 0.
Yeah, I was just culturally a little Jewish because my grandparents on my mom's side like kept kosher in the house, not when they went out.
Sure.
And we would
It's a
celebrate the
good loophole.
holidays.
Just in the house.
Just in
really.
the house. They had
Yeah.
like the milk and the silverware for the milk and the silverware for the meat, like different drawers labeled. And then we'd go there for like Passover Seders and Hanukkah. And I went to a year of Hebrew school, but then
You
dropped
speak it?
out. No,
Okay.
but I went and because I wanted to have a bat mitzvah, but I just wanted a big party.
Do you just want
Yeah.
money? How much money do you make?
Well, my mom was like, well, you could have a bat mitzvah, but we're not throwing you like a big party. Like we can do the
Okay.
ceremony of it if you care.
Sure.
And I was like, oh no, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then I dropped out and didn't get bat mitzvah.
Okay.
The actual bat mitzvah, as some Catholic and having in Jersey went to a bunch of bar mitzvahs. The actual ceremony is pretty tough.
What does that
Yeah,
mean?
you have to learn, like, the whole
What does
Torah
that mean? Pretty
portion.
tough. Like how is this tough?
It's pretty tough to it's really repetitive. It seems like a lot of and you have to, what is it? You have to
I've never been
read-
to one, so I don't really know. What
and
is
I'm the
this?
worst person to describe what a bar mitzvah is. 'Cause
Isabel,
I've been
can you
to,
explain
yeah.
to the pod?
I mean, you have
What
to
is it?
learn the Torah.
You learn like a Torah portion. There's like a lot of studying involved. I know.
Yeah.
I've been to a lot when I was younger, but I couldn't really tell you like the
Yeah.
details.
I thought you just make a lot of money.
Well, you get a lot of money
That's
from,
part of it.
from as gifts usually.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because you're becoming a man or becoming a woman.
Woman, all right.
Yeah.
Do they have a place for trans people in the Jewish faith?
Well,
I don't know.
and just like that, the Sex
Just
and the
like that?
City reboot.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Which well, it's season 1.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I've
mean, if
never
you're not
seen
caught
it.
up by now,
Yeah.
but
When was that released again? Sex and the City?
the reboot it's like recent, like
Yeah.
last year, and then this year is season 2.
Yeah,
It
but
was a cultural phenomenon, Shafi. Where were you?
Sex and the City?
Yeah.
I was in Bangladesh.
Oh, okay, maybe.
Sorry.
there is a non-binary person getting
Bar mitzvah?
bar mitzvahed.
Oh, that's really fun.
And is that, they call it that, barbot?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I forget what they call it in the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's probably something they have to evaluate and figure out
Sure.
if they have.
Because there's like place in Judaism where you can like have space for new things. Is that true? Like they kind of think about, like the scholars will think about how to approach it.
Like
Or is it-
reforms?
Like it's like you can like get a petition going and then everyone signs it. They're like, oh, okay, we can pass this. Like
I don't
Congress.
know.
Is that not a
Maybe.
thing? Okay.
I think that might just be Congress.
It might be just Congress. Yeah. So religion, not religious.
No, I if anything, I'm more spiritual now than I was as a kid.
Sure.
As a
What does
kid, I
that
was
mean to-
like, oh, there's no God.
Sure. And now you think there is one.
Even though I had like a little like. I had like a sense of wonder, I would like hope that after seeing Toy Story, I would like kind of think that my stuffed animals were probably alive when I
Sure.
wasn't in the room.
Yeah.
And things like that. And I was a little superstitious, but that was more of like an OCD thing than anything. And now, yeah, I don't believe in any like written down anything, but I just don't know. And I like to believe in something greater than myself.
What happens when you die?
No idea.
No idea. Do you think you get reunions with your stuffed animals and you all have like a party, like a dance party?
Yeah.
No,
Stuffed animal bar mitzvah.
My guess would be that you're not, if there is any kind of like awareness, it's probably like a different awareness than like yourself here. Like it's probably you're no longer you and your
Sure.
whatever soul but I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Probably
it's
you
tricky.
just like nothing.
Yeah.
Well,
Probably
do you
just
wanna be
blackness.
cremated or buried?
I think cremated for anyone if my
Cremated.
family's watching this and something
Yeah.
happens,
This
cremate
is a
me.
legally binding will.
Yeah.
That's
we
part of
do
the-
have a new
point of
idea
this.
where you get scented cremation, so your ash smells good. It's like
Yeah.
a culture clash march. We're trying to create this candle.
Yeah, we're trying to corner the market on
cremation, scented
cremation that
cremation.
smells like good.
It's like a thing that we're trying to work
Yeah.
on.
So wait, what
Startup.
would it be?
Has this ever happened to you? Have you ever been at a place where there's an urn of somebody who's been cremated and then you're like real nosy and you open it up and you try and sniff it?
It's bad. It
It's
smells
bad it smells bad.
Oh, it does?
I think so.
It smells
It smells
bad.
good.
Have you
It's
ever
burnt.
smelled ashes?
No,
I have. It's
you
bad.
have? Yeah, he smells it. It's bad.
So
What
we-
if?
cinnamon?
Lavender,
cinnamon
like
scented
good
ash.
scented ashes.
So you die, but you smell good forever. Don't you want that? And if that's for you,
Or didn't we have the idea you could be a candle?
Patreon.com/cultureclashcomedy.
No, I want to
That's
be
where you find the product.
scattered. I want them to
Yeah.
scatter my ashes.
But don't you want it to smell good when you're being scattered?
No, I want
You
it to
don't
smell
want it to
like
be
death because that's what it is.
God forbid the people there forget for a
you're-
second what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to make sure
know.
that everyone suffer.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like kind of like a fun little scavenger hunt. Like, are you going to do you think in the will, like, hey, scatter me here? X marks the spot. Like, I want you guys to go to.
Maybe.
Where's the spot that you want to be scattered?
Maybe like the camp I went to growing up, Greenwood Music Camp.
Oh. Is that close by? Where is
It's
that?
in Massachusetts. It
Massachusetts.
seems like a nice place to be scattered. Although I don't know, there are like children there. I feel like they should, at least if they do it, like don't tell the kids.
Yeah.
That,
I love the idea of you haunting the kids. You're like, you will never get into Juilliard.
Yeah.
It's not for you.
Yeah. I think they have enough people telling them that, though, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was dating like when you're young? Are you active in the scene?
I only in the summer when I would go to camp, I would have like a camp boyfriend.
Nice.
Oh, every year.
Not every year, but
A new
I'd-
boyfriend.
in the camp, I was like I could be cooler than I was at regular school because
Sure.
it was usually a music camp and I was just the bar was lower. But at school, it was like I was in the same school from kindergarten through 12th grade. So if you're like weird when you were little, you were like weird.
That's a lot of baggage to deal
And
with.
Yeah. So I never had a boyfriend at my regular school, but I had a bunch of like camp and like when I would go to my prep program on Saturdays for music, I had a boyfriend there for a little bit who I'd see like once a week. So I had like things.
How old are you at this point?
That guy, the pre-college boyfriend I was 15.
And when you say boyfriend, what does that mean?
We were boyfriend and girlfriend. Like we were like, you're my
Like in love? In love, boyfriend, girlfriend?
I was in love.
Like crazy hot sex as a 15-year-old?
Relax, but also
it's a family pod.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're
I think
allowed
he
to
said I
say
love
that.
you too. I think we said I love you to each other. I definitely thought I loved him
Sure.
at 15.
Yeah. He's still not over you. I don't know if you know.
15
Yeah.
that's the hormones. I had a bad breakup 15, and that was like you listen to Death Cab for Cutie, like all of their stuff.
Sure.
Oh.
All of it.
It took me
Sure.
a full year to get over the break because he dumped me. We were
That's
both
the
at different
worst.
like band camps,
Yeah.
and he
Wow.
called me and left a voicemail breaking up with me because he like met some girl there, and I was so ready to just be like totally like faithful, like I have a boyfriend at home and I'm so
Yeah.
I love him so much, and then he broke up with me, and I had never had my heart broken before, and it took me like I remember the next summer having a moment where I was like, oh, I think I'm over him, but it like took the whole year. I would have to go to sleep every night listening to music to make myself cry because I was so like pent up. So it was like the release night. So every night I would listen to the same piece of music and cry and then go to sleep.
Classical or with lyrics?
It was classical.
Okay.
Yeah.
What song was it? Is it just like a real sad?
So embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's this piece called Trower Music by Hindemith. It's a viola concerto, but it's like it's called, that means like death music.
Yeah.
And it was written for like the death of King George V.
Wow.
But it's super sad and dark and
That's
emo,
so funny.
and like it just works. Like it made me cry. And I had it on a Discman. It was a CD.
Yeah.
I had by my bed. I would just listen to it when I got in bed, cry my eyes out, and then go to sleep.
I would expect
That
King
is-
For
Henry
months.
VIII to have like a lot of dead tracks. 'Cause
He
he's
probably
like
had,
killing
like-
his
he
wives,
probably
and then every new wife gets a new dead track. It's like,
Yeah.
make a beat.
That's a good
Yeah.
album. That's a good
6.
concept album. A song for, well, oh yeah, actually,
Every wife.
isn't it a
There's a Broadway
show now?
musical, but I don't know.
This happens
I've never
every
heard songs.
every like 6 months. I'm like, that would be a good idea, and then it's like, oh no, it's actually already a Broadway
yeah.
fucking performance.
Sure.
Broadway.
You've collabed with musicians. You've played with musicians.
I wouldn't say like collab. Like there was no artistic collaboration. I was
Yeah.
like hired to like read down a chart of music alongside of them while they played, you know? So
sure,
yeah.
very much a hired gun,
Okay.
not like us in the room together being like, what if we did this? You
Yeah.
know?
You didn't write jokes together. You just opened for people. Is that the similar idea of what that is?
Yeah. That's a good comparison in terms of like the level of.
You didn't punch jokes together. Like, hey, that tag. No. Like, don't give me tags. Just open up for me already.
Yeah.
That's a lot, yeah. That would be wild for you to go in and just be like, hey, I think Ed Sheeran, we should. What do you think about me doing a viola solo?
But you did perform with Ed.
I
right?
did perform
You performed
with
with
Ed.
Ed. You performed with Max.
Max Richter.
Yeah, Max Richter. And
Oh, Max Richter, that's my study shit. That's my study.
Yeah, I listened to that out like your tiny desk. I think it's so good. People should check it out. Obviously.
That's also stuff I'll listen to if I need to cry.
Sure.
It,
Max
like,
Richter
induces
has, like,
crying.
Beautiful.
Yeah. His Leftovers soundtrack. Ugh.
Oh yeah.
So
really,
good.
really
I did a
enjoyed that.
Leftovers tour with him. We did like
No
a tour of the
way.
Leftovers soundtrack.
Sure.
I
Jesus
think that was
Christ.
what it was.
That
yeah.
is really cool. So what are the highlights of the music touring? Like not collabing, I guess, but so like, are any highlights of that? Any ridiculous situations that you got put into? Because comedy, I mean, they hire comedians, and it's like, hey, talk in a cafeteria while lunch is going on. Has there been any like hell gigs for viola that you've done?
Oh yeah. Sorry. Like being hired to play in someone's home, but it's like
Wow.
creepy and
Basement
just
or
not
attic?
enough breaks, and we're all like women all hired to just wear the same dresses and like creepy shit like that, and then
Yeah.
like more just hellish stuff. Trying to think like the word, like some weddings can be really brutal. Like you're like outside in the sun just playing for like 2 hours straight, no one's listening to you.
Yeah.
You're like, why am I even here? No one even hears us.
Mm-hmm.
We're just like basically visual, like.
But wouldn't you play viola for a wedding that no one's listening to, but then do stand up for a wedding that no one's? Because that's more brutal. Because at least you can play it.
Oh yeah, I'd much
and no
rather
one needs
play
to
viola
listen.
for a wedding
Right,
than
right,
do
right.
stand up for a wedding.
Stand up, if no
Oh.
one's listening to, that's like a homeless person just being crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone asked me like a random DM, like, will you they wanted me to kind of officiate the wedding, but also like perform stand up like during the ceremony.
Sure.
That's
And I
terrible.
was like, that's no offense, but like
Bad
sounds like
idea.
a recipe
Yeah.
for
Your friend?
No, like
Lose
a
that
random.
person from your life. You're like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
not a friend.
You
You
don't
have
know
no
anything
idea.
about weddings or stand-up,
stand-up.
if you thought that comparing the
That's a
two was
good
going to
idea.
help.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I'm able to do this. Sorry.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say your current relationship situation? What's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm engaged.
You're engaged.
Congrats.
She's engaged. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know the guy. Very sweet
You
guy.
know the
Also
guy.
a musician.
He sends his best.
He does.
When I was
and
leaving, he
I send my
said-
best to Will. You used to have a locket
A locket.
with his name, right? Is it still there? Like a
I
chain?
don't. Oh, I have a necklace that says his name
Necklace.
on it.
Different words.
I don't always wear it though. It's
Sure.
really it's
So you're engaged
real-
now. You've been together for how long?
a while, years.
Years.
Yeah,
On end.
we live together. All that. It's like
Love marriage, you would say. This is a love marriage.
Not green card.
This is not
Yeah.
arranged.
yeah, we're getting
situation.
married for no, just like tax purposes.
Yeah.
Having just filed jointly for the first time, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's good.
Dude, oh my
That's
God.
good.
We were expecting such a bigger hit. We got it back and it was like 10% of what we thought it would be. I don't know how there's benefits to it, but we are swimming.
I'm getting married tomorrow.
You're swimming in money.
Swimming in money just because we thought that the rate was going to be a lot higher. And it's
But
Oh,
wait,
really?
Are you
Yeah.
filing right now? This is like, it's what, August? Who's
Bro,
filing
you
for
filed
August?
we
in-
are late.
Oh, you're late?
Oh,
Accountant.
shit.
I'm not thrilled with his work. We were hounding him. But anyway, we
Sure.
just got the news today that the filing went through and it was like, instead of 30,000, it was like 3,000.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, nice. That is really good.
Yeah.
So and all of the other emotional stuff, but the tax, I mean,
It's
the
the
benefits
best.
of marriage.
Sure.
My God.
Health insurance, you also get health stuff,
insurance.
right?
Yep. That's a good one.
You get maternity leave, paternity, but I guess if you're like an artist, no one's gonna give you. You don't have HR for viola or stand up,
Yeah.
so you just all.
You could
solo.
probably play viola pretty pregnant. You think?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think you can play viola totally fully pregnant. You
Yeah.
could play viola while you give birth.
You think?
Sure. As you're pushing,
Not well, maybe.
Not well, but
you're just pushing, and it's just like the best thing you've ever produced.
Yeah.
Your kid comes out with a string attached.
Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
umbilical cord, but it's like you add that to the string and then you play it.
Yeah, gross, but also
But also a visual.
a visual. Yeah.
So when you were dating back in the day, I guess, we don't have to talk about your current fiance because that's boring.
So boring.
and stable and probably a source
Yeah.
of so much emotional
Joy,
fulfillment.
and I don't need that in the
Yeah,
pod.
no one wants to hear that shit.
No comedians especially saying like to a comedian like it is the most fulfilling, amazing that like
You're just like, what?
it is so like, hey, after this spot I'm going home to watch a movie with my wife, and
I
they're
know.
like, I can't. What?
You're
I
not grinding.
Yeah.
I know, it feels so
You're
like
not grinding.
Yeah.
sacrilegious. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna just go home and like eat dinner that my
Yeah.
partner made, and
Yeah.
we're gonna watch our favorite show.
And that will be as good, if not better, than a great set
yeah.
of like, because it's fucking
Yeah, you're
it's
just
Severance.
lying
you know?
to
Yeah.
yourself. There's nothing like a great set.
No, dude.
There is nothing like a great set.
Shut up.
I put dinner up there. A good dinner.
a good dinner
Yeah.
to a great set.
Really?
What
are
are
you
you eating?
Are you a foodie?
My wife's a real good cook, but we just have a really good fucking time together. So that's
Aw,
like,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
just,
cry.
if it's like a 2 hour, and explaining this to comedians is always just like, I'm gonna go.
She's a
into
fun time.
Yeah.
I met the wife. She's nice. I
but
like her.
Yeah, I don't know.
Big
Comedy's
fan
fine.
of M.
Yeah. I have a lot
but
of fun
so-
with my
Well,
fiance too.
yeah, I mean,
just so you know, I have a good relationship too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Javi does too. Yeah.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
dog-
I do. I mean, my
Yeah.
girlfriend's the best.
It's a golden retriever.
We love her.
Yeah.
But when you're dating back in the day, before Will, were you like a first date kiss, hookup, or slow and steady? What's that like?
Yeah.
On the first.
All in
I
on
was
the
not
first.
coy. I didn't believe in playing any games. Like
I love that.
It's weird
You
because
know what you want and you go for it.
I know what I want. I don't know what it is because I don't think I'm like the hottest person on the planet or anything like that. But I just never had any fear with dating. I would just be like, I like them. I'm gonna pursue them. If they don't like me, I will move on. And
Sure.
like I was just always very like upfront, and I was like, I'm not gonna play a game because I need to play a game to get this person, that I don't want this person. I don't want
sure.
someone who I need to play a game with. And there's so many people.
Sure.
Like,
in
so
the
I
city.
had a great time. I mean, there was like hurt and stuff, but I also
Sure.
like just had a great time dating.
Did the breakup when you're 15 affect your dating at all, you think, or was it not an issue?
I think being truly heartbroken that early was a gift,
Yeah.
because
I agree.
even though there was pain after that, you just sort of, once you get over your first heartbreak, you know that you're always going to get over it,
Yeah.
you know?
And it's also at a time when there's no stakes. I mean,
Yeah.
they seem monumental and insane.
People kill themselves
Yeah.
after their first breakup.
Yeah,
so there's some
like-
stakes.
but you're not living together. You don't have to like move out because
Right,
you've
you
broken
live
up
with your
at 15.
parents who are
Yeah.
like taking care of you. Hopefully, like if I had my first heartbreak now, like with
Oh my
the
God.
chaos of like adulthood, I might like fucking hurt
Sure.
myself. Like I
Sure.
don't know.
Yeah.
And everyone's different, but I'm just really glad I had it so early, and I think it just like I moved on pretty. From then on, I'd be like, all right, next, like whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's, yeah. I
And
don't
what's
know.
dating at Juilliard like? Is that
Oh,
like
it's
what's the
wild.
hierarchy and like?
Like, can a violist get together with a flute person, or is like a no-no?
Oh well, it's an orchestra
Well-
too, right? Aren't you guys like a big team that you got to worry about, like
the
dynamics?
The hierarchy, I think, exists more between the departments. So there's music, dance, and drama. So the drama, that's like the people who are going to be famous,
Yes.
right? The actors.
yeah.
Is it like most
Those are-
Juilliard people make it?
The drama department's so small that I feel like there's a good percentage of
Who do I know from Juilliard that's on TV?
Adam Driver, Robin Williams. Yeah.
the person who killed himself?
Yeah. He did some other things before but in between Juilliard and killing himself.
I'm
there
not
was
saying
like,
that's his greatest gift to humanity. I'm
Yeah.
just saying I know that fact about that guy.
Yeah.
He was a good stand-up too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did some comedy.
That's like the
He
most.
was decent.
He was a
the-
decent comedian.
He's one of the most like meaningful comedic actors of the 21st century, and you're just like, oh well, he offed himself. So that's what it is. I think we might pause on Juilliard gossip for the Patreon. If
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah,
Sure.
Let's
yeah.
do that.
So
Final plugs.
final plugs.
for the
Anything
main app?
else before we get into the juicy?
Your tour. You want to plug your tour?
All dates for when I'm performing, just go to isabelhagen.com. It links to all my social media. So pick your platform, whatever, if you want
Nice.
to follow me. And yeah.
Cool.
And follow Dan. You have shows coming up.
Yeah.
Plug them away.
Links in the bio. Same
Bio
thing.
of what? At Dan Palzello?
DanPolzello.com. Would you believe I'm the only Dan Polzello?
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's only one.
You lucked out.
Yeah.
Find my tour stuff at Shafi Stands Up. Follow the pod, where they can find the pod.
You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. That's why I did it up top.
Oh,
Yep.
but are you going to do it again?
Yeah, Instagram.
You got to let them know.
Instagram,
twice
TikTok,
at least.
Patreon. New episodes every Wednesday, and then we're going over to the Patreon, keeping the good times rolling.
What do we do on Patreon? Give them.
Oh, we got juicy questions that we can't do because it's too wild,
illegal.
and we're gonna hear about Juilliard.
Yeah, we talk about cancel
A lot,
culture.
no stakes, but this is our financial future is based on how cool these stories are.
All right.
Yeah, so you gotta bring them.
She's gonna bring it.
See you guys on
I believe
Patreon.
him. Bye.